My Heart Belongs to Daddy. Yeah, great old standard right there. And that is the unmistakable voice of Miss Eartha Kitt, who we're real happy to say is going to be performing in our area on November 20th over at the Van Wezel Hall. And as if by wizardry, Eartha Kitt joins us right now by telephone. How are you, Eartha?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you. I'm glad we could work it out today. And, well, welcome to Sarasota in advance.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to coming there. No, I don't think I've ever been there.
I was going to ask you, have you been down to the Van Wezel Hall before?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, well, you're going to love it. It's one of those kind of, it's a very unusual looking theater. You'll notice as you drive up, it's painted purple on the outside, so you can't miss it.
Oh, that means power.
I guess so, right. Well, when I saw the schedule, they sent us the schedule of the Van Wezel usually in the summer, and I saw your name on that. I was real happy to hear that, and been a big admirer of your music for years. I grew up in New York, Eartha, and I used to listen to a station up there called WNEW, and they used to play quite a few of your recordings.
They always played the great ones.
Yeah, wonderful station. Unfortunately, went out of business and then became WQEW, which that went out of business. But we're trying to keep the music alive, at least down here in Sarasota. Are you doing a Florida tour, Eartha?
Yes, 3 places there. One is a private party.
Oh, are you? Okay, great. And of course, for the people out there, there's no need to really tell them, but in case some people out there may not be familiar, Eartha's one of the great cabaret artists of all time and has really conquered all facets of show business. You did Broadway for quite a while, won, I believe, a Tony, didn't you?
Yes, I'm still into Broadway because while I'm very lucky to be in a position where I can play Broadway when a play comes up that I can find a character in, as well as do cabaret, as well as make records, as well as I work in all of the areas of the media.
Yeah.
But it's a shame that there are no such thing as real cabaret anymore. It seems to be extinct. But I think it's, across the country, people are trying very hard to bring it back. But you need more than one artist to be able to play in these very intimate places that they call cafe society, what it used to be called. And I miss it because I long for that kind of intimacy with the Persian Room at the Plaza Hotel in New York.
Oh, sure.
I played there for something like 7 or 10 years, and at the Carlisle, which is the only place, I think, in New York City that is considered a real cafe society cabaret, and maybe the Regency. But where else is there cafe society cabaret? I'm very fortunate to be able to play the broader theaters, too, such as the White House Art Center.
Mm-hmm.
But people are asking me, when are we going to see you in that intimate phase of the yesteryears of the 50s and the 60s? We don't have them anymore.
It's such a unique art form when you see an entertainer like yourself basically in one. You have a group behind you, maybe sometimes just a piano, but to be able to hold an audience for an hour and a half, and you really don't see that among the younger people. I guess there are some coming up, but you don't see that type of entertainment anymore. It is a shame. I hope it can come back.
I hope so, too. But you need a pioneer, someone who has a lot of money, who's willing to take a chance on opening cabarets such as that. But then you have to have, when I was working at the Persian Room, the reason why that room closed is Paul Sonneman, who owned the hotel at that time and was very much enamored with that kind of cabaret. He said you need 10 artists a year that can hold the audience for a whole month, which is what I did. But everybody went for the big arenas and rock and roll and so forth,
right.
Which is fine, but I think the intimacy of the business has gotten sort of dissipated.
I know Michael Feinstein, the great singer, opened a club a few years ago.
Regency.
Have you played? Is that at the Regency? Okay.
He owns his name is on the Regency. Yeah.
Right. He kind of was trying to bring it back, and very successfully at that particular club. I guess the Rainbow Room was another one that, unfortunately, I believe, went out of business, didn't it?
Yeah. Rosemary Clooney was the only one who could hold that room. And that room was glass, and the sound had to be specifically for Clooney, and she was very successful in that room, but she was the only one.
Yeah, Yeah, it was at the top of Rockefeller Center there, if I remember correctly. And
the room itself has no personality. That's why it's part of business.
Is that right?
but you know, sometimes the artists, no matter how good we are, we do need a little help from the atmosphere.
Right, sure. We're talking with Eartha Kitt, who'll be at Sarasota at the Van Wezel on November 20th with Dick Hyman. We're going to talk to Dick a little bit later on the show. Eartha, he's a good friend of us down here since he makes his home down here now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I just did, I think we did something with him. Andy Warhol's, no. What was the name of the guy who makes the movies? Andy Warhol. No, he's a painter. His music for the movies.
Okay.
And Dick put a show together with several of us artists. And I had a wonderful time with him.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm very glad to be in his presence again.
It's going to be a great show, just to see two really legendary performers together. And Eartha, just talk a little bit about what the audience is going to see. Will it be basically, I know it's a relatively large room, about 1,500 seats, but you're going to do it kind of like a cabaret room, right?
Yes, but I take the cabaret into the larger arenas such as that, because I've been at the Mohegan Sun up here in Connecticut, and that was marvelous, and I think that holds something, that kind of a capacity. And then the Litchfield Jazz Center and the Newport Jazz Festival. And it was absolutely marvelous. The audiences, of course, we depend so much on the audience because they don't realize very often how helpful they should be.
Well, you're going to love the Sarasota audience. They're very appreciative down here.
I'm telling you, when you're standing up there all by yourself with a few musicians in back of you, and everything depends on you. And if the sound system isn't right, well, of course, I'm complaining, but I shouldn't be. I expect everything to be absolutely copacetic when I get there.
That's it. Well, it should be. We'll make sure of that. But I know it's going to be a great show. And Eartha, just going through your career, I know you worked in live television. I guess Ed Sullivan Show was the big show for artists like you coming up back in the 50s and 60s. Talk about what it was like just to do that show, because that was definitely live when television was live, right?
Yes, and if you made a mistake, you have to make a mistake and make it look as part of what you intend to do. I mean, somebody like Ed Sullivan could make all of the mistakes in the world because they sort of expected him to,
yeah, right.
but they didn't expect us to. And it was absolutely marvelous because when you're playing in front, well, I feel this way anyway, when I'm playing in front of a live audience, then the juices work in the right direction because the audience is helping me create those moments, because I can sing a song 1,000,000 times, but every time it is sung, it's a different song.
Oh, sure.
And because I'm different, I interpret differently, and because you're not the same person today that you were yesterday, because I hope I have learned something between the yesteryears.
Yeah. My uncle was in show business. He was on that show 4 or 5 times. He worked with Smith and Dale. I don't know if you remember that comedy team. And he just told some great stories about Ed Sullivan would change the show maybe like 5 minutes before you went on, told you have only 3 minutes instead of 6. It could be a little harrowing.
Yes, I don't think he ever did that with me, though, because we got to know each other pretty well.
Yeah.
But the thing about him and me was that I was, when RCA Victor wanted me to say punch a new record that was coming out on his show, because that was the thing to do at that time. If you hear it on Ed Sullivan's show, then it would be a better chance of the song becoming a hit.
Oh, sure.
But I was singing my usual repertoire of English songs, Spanish songs, and the French songs, etc. songs. But he wanted me to sing in Hebrew. Because I do have an extensive Hebrew repertoire.
Right.
And he wanted to get that audience, which he didn't have.
Oh, that's great.
As extensively as he would like to have had. So there, he sent me home to get my Hebrew music from time to time, which I thought was a laugh. because he said I'm the only sepia girl in town that was singing Hebrew.
He'll kind of spring things on you, right, at the last minute. Yeah, that's great. We're talking with Eartha Kitt, who will be in town on November 20th, and I kind of wish I was born maybe 20 years earlier. I could have seen some of those wonderful shows. I remember the Ed Sullivan Show was a little bit as a kid toward the end of this run, but I do remember this, and I know you're probably asked about it all the time, but you as the wonderful Catwoman on Batman, I guess you still get recognized as that character, right?
Yes, of course, and it's one of the most wonderful things I feel I have ever done because I didn't have to think about it. I just went out and did it.
Oh, that was great.
And of course, every time the mother or a grandma or parent would say to their grandchildren or their children, "Do you know who this is?" Of course, they don't know who I am unless they saw a film called Holes. Until I go, and they say, "Oh yes, Catwoman." Blah, blah, blah. So he did me a great favor by having me play that character.
Oh boy, I mean that show. I remember it as a little kid, but that show was so huge. I guess if you were on that once, I mean, it just made stars out of anybody who appeared on it. I mean, even bigger than you were before, right?
Yes,
amazing.
and who would have known? Who would have thought?
One of those.
But those were times when it was a lot of fun, and there was not as much technology as eventually came into, like in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen maybe a bit of the movies, which I didn't think were very funny and too much brutality.
Yeah.
What we did for television was just the sound of everything. You never saw anything real brutal. And when we hit somebody, it was beautifully choreographed in dance form. So it was not brutal at all.
No, it was like a cartoon, but everybody could enjoy it. Yeah, it was a wonderful show. And I know you've done recently some animated voiceovers, haven't you, for Disney? Is that right?
Oh, yes, I'm still working on this. I have to think about this because I've done so many of them now, and they just kept doubling in my mind. But this is the third one I think we're doing for Disney, Emperor's New Groove. And I think this one is called Kronk's New Groove, which is the same Emperor's New Groove started out as. And they took, a spin-off on that television series, which is called Emperor's New School.
Oh, great. Well, that voice is so unmistakable, Eartha. I mean, I would be surprised if you weren't doing voiceovers.
Well, I talked to Orson Welles when I was working with him, and he was doing voiceovers for some kind of wine.
Sure.
And they said that it was very difficult to have the audience recognize the fact that it was a wine he was talking about. They wanted his voice. They remembered the voice as Orson Welles, and that's all they remembered, but they didn't remember the wine. Now, I was doing voiceover for, I think I did one for tuna fish or something like that. But whatever it was. I know what it was. I was doing one for Hello, everybody. Hello. Hello, c'est le shampoo qui glorify le hair. And everybody wanted to buy the record. They couldn't remember what the subject was because they said they fell in love with the voice.
Oh, yeah.
So the voice can be an asset as well as a hindrance, depending on how the, what do you call that?
Whatever the advertiser is looking for.
Yeah, the advertiser.
Yeah.
You look out your voice.
So you make your home in Connecticut now, is that right? Have you been there a while?
Yes,
I thought you were on the West Coast.
My daughter married someone who cannot move out of Connecticut because he has the custody of the children.
Ah.
And therefore, no matter where I was living before, you don't want to be too far away from the children because in case something happens, you want to be right there to get near fast. I want to be close enough not to be on top of her, but at the same time be with her. So I'm within walking distance.
Oh, that's great. And you're still near enough to New York City for
Yes,
Broadway.
I'm only an hour away from the center of New York.
That's great. Well, Eartha, it's really been a treat for me to catch up and talk to you. I've been a big admirer of yours, of course, over the years, just hearing your music and seeing you on television and movies as well. And we'll look forward to seeing you on November 20th at the Van Wezel down here. And hopefully we'll have you on again real soon sometime. Be great to talk to you again.
Thank you. And tell Mr. Hyman to have that song ready that he wanted me to sing. He knows which one it is.
Oh, I will. Okay. He's coming on next hour, so we'll talk to him. Thanks,
and maybe I
Eartha.
can do a solo with him with that song.
That would be great.
Okay.
I'll pass it along. Thanks, Eartha. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye-bye.